Hi friends, I'm Juno Palindrome, and this is the Junodrome. We're going to be doing an intuitive reading today. I have 3 different piles for you to choose from. Each pile is shuffled with 2 tarot decks, 2 cards from an oracle deck, a rune, and we're finishing up the reading with a 7-word randomly generated poem from one of these books. In a moment, I'm going to have you choose the pile for you to get your reading from, but before I do, I'm going to play for you a 30-second nature meditation. Take that time to declutter your mind, stare at beautiful nature, listen to weird music, and as soon as it's over, you'll be shown each pile up close. The first one that you feel any kind of inkling to, any kind of nudge to, is going to be your pile. So please choose that one, and we'll have a link down into the comments section with the timestamp for each part of the video. So if you choose pile number 3, for instance, just click on pile number 3 down in the comments, and it'll take you directly to your reading. So without further ado, here's a short meditation, and we'll get started at your reading. Thanks. Hi there, pile number 1. You chose this book by Alan Watts called Behold the Spirit. We'll get to that in a minute, but first we've got the rune Fehu, which is really great. It means like wealth, prosperity, abundance. In the olden days, it was talking about like cattle mostly, and it's like a wheat, like a thing of wheat. I actually have it right there on the wall. So good for you. All right, I'm gonna get into the cards now, and then we'll start the reading here. First off, we're gonna start with the Shamanic Oracle deck. I'm a huge fan of this deck because it's very gentle, very kind. I like to start my day off with one of these, tends to be, because it's a really nice way to kind of see how things are going in a very gentle and kind way. So the 2 cards that we have for you are number 10, which is Burden. Hang in there. And then we've got Grounding. So those are those. For the tarot cards, the first deck we've got is my handmade deck, my little trainer deck I made when I was learning tarot, and it's got, you know, got my own little flavor all over it. I'm into it. So we've got the 5 of Swords. We've got the 2 of Cups. We've got the Hierophant, or Jupiter, in this deck, because it's based off of a deck that's in French. We've got the Lovers. We've got the Queen of Wands. And then you guys got a bonus card that popped out, and your bonus card is the Hanged Man. I'll put that right there. And now we've got, for your last tarot deck, we've got the Rider-Waite traditional deck. So we've got the Chariot. We've got the Lovers. We've got the Four of Swords. We've got the Seven of Swords. And your last card is the Ten of Swords. So we're going to jump right into this reading here. It's kind of a doozy, so hang in there with me. I think that the situation in the world that's happening, this is a timeless reading, so you might not be listening to this when I'm putting it out, but if you are, I'm sure at least you remember that we're in kind of this weird holding pattern right now, right? Where a lot of us are kind of forced to sit with a lot of stuff and figure stuff out about our lives. And I think that you may be in one of those moments here, and it looks like it might be kind of a tricky one. Not necessarily, well, you're going through stuff. We've got a lot of swords energy, just to start it out. And swords tend to be the suit that is all about thought. It's representative of the air signs. It's all about thinking, the mental body. You've got the Four of Swords, the Five of Swords, the Seven of Swords, and the Ten of Swords. That's a lot of swords energy. So you're going through a lot mentally. And then I have to say, before we move along at all, the theme of the reading is 100% love. Like, this has to be a love reading because we've got the Lovers in both decks, as well as the Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups in the traditional Rider-Waite deck is depicted as a man and a woman both holding a cup together, kind of symbolizing love. Like, it's the other love card of the deck. So man, do we have a lot of love energy here. And it looks kind of like to me that you are going through some re-understanding of like past relationships, and kind of like it seems like you feel potentially, and I might be wrong on this, but it feels like you might be feeling in your mind that you're unlucky in love, or that you've had a lot of difficulty in love. Maybe you're one of those people who feels like they can't find love again, or that there's been, that it's impossible for you potentially. It's not at all, but I'm thinking potentially that's how you're feeling about yourself right now, at least on some level. And the reason why I'm thinking that is because, like I was saying before, this is all about what's going on in your mind. And we've got a story here of potentially some of your past experiences and feelings. We've got the two cards that talk about deception and lies, and like trickery. We've got the Five of Swords here, which tends to be depicted as a man who's sneaking out in the night with two swords that he stole from a building. And then we've got the Seven of Swords here, which is a man... Oh, no, sorry. This one is a man who's, like, fought a battle and, like, was victorious, right? And is leaving with these two swords, but it's, like, a bad kind of victorious. Like, there's these dejected people leaving who he's, like, fought, and he's got this, like, smug, like, ha, 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 look at what I got kind of attitude. And then the Seven of Swords is this guy who's got a very similar attitude, but he's the one who stole them. He's got this big pile of swords that he's like sneaking out of this village that he stole. So, I'm not necessarily saying that there were lies and deception in the past, but it's definitely possible. The Seven of Swords, I know for me personally, when it comes up, it tends to be talking about self-sabotage, because that tends to be something that I do kind of frequently. Or at least I have. So it's definitely possible that this is talking about situations, like love situations that you've self-sabotaged, or And this is kind of something I was feeling with this. Since we have two lovers and the cups, I'm feeling like potentially for you, there's a new person who's coming into your life, and you have a potential to have new love, but you're being overweighed by your past experiences that have been really tricky and difficult, and that's leading you to fearing potentially jumping into this relationship, and maybe that's where the self-sabotage is coming in, that you are letting your past experiences block new love from entering your life. And it's definitely possible that that's the case. I'm going to read these shamanic oracle cards because they really make me think that that's a possibility. But before I get into that, I got a couple of things I got to mention here. First off, we got the Hanged Man energy, so that means that you're stuck, right? I probably should have started with that. I think that that's your overall energy right now, is that you're in this very like stuck holding pattern. You're in a holding pattern in your life, and that's kind of like, in order to get past that, you've got to go through these mental things that are happening to you. Um, and you know, I'm thinking that you're the Queen of Wands in this case, potentially. So that's sort of like the wands are all about making things happen, manifestation, passion, drive. So if that's representing you, which I think it is, you know, you've got that passion and that drive is a part of you. And I think that that is really important for you in relationships. And I think that maybe you've gone through these very like intense, passion-filled relationships with people, but then might have gotten even on the verge of codependency potentially. And I'll get to that real quick with this burden card, because that is really kind of talking about that. In fact, let me read the burden card for you now, because that's where, to me, that codependency energy is kind of coming in here. Many times we take on the stress of those we love and care for. We see it as the ultimate sacrifice. We take on others' burdens to save them the trouble or heartache. Ironically, the way energy and the universe work makes this a very counterproductive way of operating. When we take on the burdens of others, we deny them the ability to learn and grow from their own lessons. We also interfere with divine planning and timing. Never one to be thwarted, any lessons circumnavigated will absolutely reappear, sometimes with much more force than what was originally intended. Ask yourself if you or another is taking on troubles and lessons not belonging to them out of a need to be needed. This stems from the fear that you or they are fundamentally not enough. This is not true. You are created perfect. Your fears and doubts keep you separated from this truth. This is the separation one can feel from the Creator. Once you accept and believe you are perfect and worthy, the tendency to make yourself invaluable to others through your help and assistance will go away. Your relationships can then be based on truth and not manipulation. So, to me, that's kind of relating to this in the way that, you know, I think that's the way that you get through this, right? I think that as you're going through and analyzing past relationships where you've had these, you know, potentially deceitful partners, or you've been deceiving yourself or each other in the relationship that's kind of turned into something toxic. And that's kind of where I'm also feeling that toxicity here in this, the Ten of Swords, which is like the ultimate disaster card, right? But the thing about this card is it's incredibly dramatic, right? Like, yeah, what happened was bad. Not gonna lie. But this is a person who is like wallowing in it. And I don't know. It's a little excessive, you know? Like, one sword would have killed him. Did they need 10? Like, that's really putting it on, you know? And I'm not trying to say that, you know, I'm not trying to diminish anything that you've gone through whatsoever. But we have a tendency when we think of things and remember things. I know this is, for me, what happens. We can try to, like, they end up growing into this cacophony that becomes worse and worse and worse, and then you're just in this like dread energy. And I think potentially that's where you've been in relationships, or you were in a relationship that made you feel that way. But we've got a lot of really good signs for coming through this. And so I know you're going to come through this. At least there's ways to do it, right? And I think that a part of it is going back and analyzing some of where mistakes came from. You know, the burden card is kind of leading me to think that it's a possibility that you were taking on the problems of somebody else, you know, and you were I'm just going to be real here and talk about my last relationship because I feel like it is applicable to your situation, right? I was dating somebody and kind of made them my life. You know, I felt like the more that I was giving to them of myself and the more that I was allowing myself to just be there for them and do everything that I could, that, you know, that would be fulfillment, right? And that would be what would make me feel good to be alive. And of course that's not true, right? Like that, you can't do that. Like you got to be in a relationship where you are, you know, solid and independent on your own, because if you don't, like, then you kind of, you can go into that codependency thing. And I'm thinking potentially that's what's happened to you in the past, but it doesn't have to be the way that you move forward. We have the ability to grow from our experiences and learn from them. And I think that you have a good possibility of doing that. You have the Four of Swords here, which is talking about rest and rejuvenation. This is all about calming the mind, allowing yourself to come to a place and a center where you're not overburdened by your thoughts, and you come to a peace within yourself, a stillness, and then you can move on from that. And talking about that peace and rest and rejuvenation, we're going to read the grounding card now because it's giving you advice on how to do that. The grounding card goes like this. As humans, our bodies are of the earth. It is a natural inclination when we experience uncomfortable emotions or energy to ground it out, much in the way a ground wire works with electrical current. However, with so much in our modern lives that causes us to be disconnected from Creator, we tend to gravitate towards false grounding. Overeating, smoking, drinking, and recreational drugs are common ways some try to ground. These items are of the earth, but they are not the earth. It is not true grounding. As such, it cannot sustain. It doesn't last. What ends up happening is that, as with most experiences that are false, we need more and more to achieve the same result. To truly ground and connect to both the earth and the Creator, practice consciously connecting your energy to the earth. You should not be getting your energy outside yourself, but directly from the divine. This is achieved through meditation, energy work, and mindfulness. Find a way that works for you and practice it. By drawing this card, you are being asked to look at the areas in your life where you may be employing false grounding as a coping mechanism. So it's asking you to start grounding yourself and to start meditating. If you obviously found this on YouTube, I really recommend going and looking up heart meditations. Look up guided heart meditation on YouTube, and you'll start to find some. There are some out there that are really, really great, and it's a good way to like start healing some of the heart stuff that you're going through, because a lot of them will have you practice imagining connecting your energy deep into the earth and having the earth's energy come up and into you and into yourself. And the more that you practice that, the more that you're going to start leaving this headspace turmoil stuff and coming back into your heart space. And that could help you. At the very least, finding time and space to be calm and to rest is definitely what you're being asked to do right now. And now I want to read some cards here that there's some hope that you're going to make it through this. Like, I don't want it to just be this dread reading, because it's not. The main rune is Fehu, which is about prosperity and about wealth. So, you know, that is telling me that you have that coming to you. You have that as a possibility. So it's possible that by working through this experience, you're going to open that up to you. And the other card that's really signifying that, right, is the Chariot, which is triumph, being triumphant. So you might be held in this pause right now, but I think you can use that. I think that this pause is an opportunity for you to heal that and then move into new love. Because the Lovers are on here twice, and you've got the Two of Cups. So I think that you have an opportunity of love here. As much as you are kind of juggling your past experiences, don't let your past experiences affect the possibility of what you're moving into. Reality is an open book. All that exists is this moment here and now. And so because of that, you don't have to let what's happened to you in the past affect you now or alter your future. But if you don't work through some of these things, you're going to be carrying them into the new thing. And then you, by bringing this past stuff into the now and into your next relationship or whatever opportunity is coming up to you, you have the potential of making it happen again, keeping that alive, keeping those cycles continuing, right? As the burden was talking about, I think it was talking about, like, by not learning that lesson, you are guaranteeing it's going to keep coming up, and probably a lot more intense than it was before. And it looks like it was pretty intense before. So you're being asked to rest and to hold and to think. And by doing that, you open up prosperity to yourself. So obviously, we all have free will in life. We all have the opportunity to do whatever we choose. Your life is yours. So you don't have to listen to anything I just said at all. And if this didn't resonate with you at all, then it's probably a good chance this wasn't the right reading for you, and maybe a different one is yours. So take what I said with a grain of salt. But the universe is giving you an opportunity to learn from your past. And it's telling you that if you take the time, it will be worth it. If you take the time to work through the things that you've gone through and not let them continue, if you take that time for yourself, and that's for you, it's a gift for you. You can give yourself the gift of prosperity, of joy, of fulfillment, of actual love that is in a way that's good for you and for the other person and for everyone involved. You have that opportunity, but the only one who can make that happen is you. But you can do it. You can make that happen. And I think that is why you are the Queen of Wands in this situation. Be the Queen of Wands. She is the queen of manifestation. She makes things happen. She can turn whatever energy around on a dime and charge forward, And that's the other thing too, the Chariot. You can charge forward. So do it. Yeah, I hope that resonated with you. I hope that wasn't harsh. Please leave a comment if you liked it, and please subscribe if you want to hear more from me. I would be so honored if you subscribe to my channel. We're going to move on to pile number 2, but thank you so much. I really enjoyed that reading. I hope that you did too. So, thanks. Oh. No, we're not done. I hope you stayed with me. Please stay with me. We gotta do the book. So, we're gonna do the book now. So how this works is I'm going to roll the dice, and it's going to we're gonna roll the dice, and we're gonna get 7 words, and then those 7 words I'm going to rearrange into a poem, and that poem will be a continuation of this reading here. So I'm going to skip ahead to when I found the words. Yeah, anyway, I might have already started skipping. Probably have. All right. Word number 1 is also. Word number 2 is modern. Word number 3 is unite. Two, non-duality. Are the all right, so that's all of it. So you've got also, modern, unite, to, non-duality, are, the. And so I'm going to make the poem in just a minute. I have more insight into the reading from this as well, so I'm really happy that we did this. So just give me 1 second. Okay, so what I got was the modern non-duality are also to unite. So we've got some larger dimension onto this reading here that I really want to talk about. First off, I totally missed a card. I didn't even talk about this, and I should have. We have the Hierophant here, which talks about tradition. And so I'm thinking that there's a possibility that a part of your past conflict in love has come from feeling pressured to to make your love a certain way based on societal's expectations, based on what you've learned you're supposed to do from a relationship versus what's actually good for you and the other person. That the love that's good for you might not be what you're expecting because you might have a very specific idea of what love is based on what it's supposed to be from societal pressure. And the reason why I'm thinking that is because the poem we've got the modern non-duality are also to unite. So I think potentially the best kind of relationship and the best love for you might be something that's totally outside of the bounds of traditional relationships, and that this modern sensibility may also be to unite for yourself. And we've got non-duality here. So the other meaning for some of these cards, the lovers and particularly the Two of Cups, is all about that non-duality. It's the balance of those opposites. Maybe you're being called to balance the masculine and feminine within yourself. That the Two of Cups speaks of that. In the traditional deck, it is the two people are together, but it also has the caduceus, which are the two snakes wrapping around each other, and can talk about the two polar aspects of the self within one person. And so maybe you're being asked to unite those sensibilities within yourself, or the person who's right for you might not be the traditional person who you're supposed to be with. So that's all potentially the case. I don't know if any of this has resonated with you whatsoever. I really hope that it has. I'm going to move on to the next reading now, but I hope that you like that. I hope that you gained some insight. I hope at least a part of it resonated with you. And if it did, once again, please tell me in the comments and feel free to subscribe. I hope you enjoyed that reading. I really did. Took me through a loop here, which is cool. Yeah, thanks for keeping me on my toes, pile number 1. I love it. We're going to move on now, so thank you. Hey, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. So, the book that you chose was Silk Screen Printing Techniques. That's fun. I haven't actually used this book yet to do that, but I am going to. I am determined. We're going to put that to the side for now. And we'll start with the rune. You've got Kaunaz, and that is the rune that traditionally it means like a torch, but you could think about it Honestly, I think about it a lot like a light bulb symbolically, like that turning the light on, aha. But it can also mean like knowledge, um, uh, being passed down knowledge, learning something. But I think mostly it's like an aha moment. So maybe you've got that coming to you. We've got my handmade deck here. This one I made myself as kind of a trainer to learn the cards. I've got the Nine of Swords. We've got the Empress. Seven of Pentacles. King of Swords. And Six of Pentacles. And now we've also got the traditional Rider-Waite deck. We've got the Sun. Very nice. Page of Cups. Nine of Wands. Queen of Swords. Justice. And you got one extra card here on this one that popped out, and it is the Magician. Because of course it is. And then the final cards that we have come from the Shamanic Healing Oracle, which is a very nice, gentle oracle deck that I like to use for advice. We've got It's All Good. And we've got Feminine Energy. So I'm going to start this out with a couple things. First, remember that this is an aha moment that's coming to you. So you've got a breakthrough coming in here. And I think that it's coming from a lot of things, but we want to start out just to start it from this with the Feminine Energy card here, because this is something that you've got twice, basically. Because you have Feminine Energy, and then you also have the Empress, who in the archetypes of the major arcana tend to represent that feminine energy. At least you've got the High Priestess, who represents it on that mystical level, that like primal femininity. But then you have the Empress, who represents that sort of regal societal. Honestly, I think of like second wave feminism a lot. You know, she's like businesswoman. But that sense of femininity. So I'm going to read the feminine energy here real quick. Even if you're a man, I think this is completely applicable, so please stick with me. I've got darkness, the moon, the tides, the quiet gestation before the chaos, the void. These are all aspects of feminine energy: passive, waiting, gestating, and nurturing. It is the opposite of the prior card, so very different, yet the perfect companion. The prior card is masculine energy. Perhaps you have yet to find your feminine side. The life you are leading right now has given you opportunities to embrace this part of you. But between the two opposing energies, feminine energy is the harder one to embrace. It requires trust and the lack of fear. Trust that all is as it should be, and the absence of fear of things not getting done. Perhaps in the past, you had been hurt when you were embracing your feminine energy, physically or mentally. This was the free will of the person who hurt you. It was not caused by being who you were. Do not let the actions of another dictate who you need to be. Examine your feminine side. Become friends with her again. Alternatively, this card represents an important woman in the seeker's life. So the reason I'm starting out with that is that you have a couple of things in this spread that indicate you are in a period where you are paused and you are working through something. And I think that feminine energy is really going to help you work through whatever you're going through. So First off, we have the two things that are leading me to think you're in a pause, is it's written twice in this spread. We have the Eight of Wands here, and this is depicted as a man who has gone through many battles. He's got his head bandaged up, and he's paused and kind of like ready and waiting for the next thing. So you are in a pause moment, but you've been through a bunch of stuff. And then you also have the Seven of Pentacles, and this is a man who is waiting on his plants to grow. He's been growing plants for quite some time. He's waiting for the harvest to come, but he's in the middle of it, and he's paused and watching his plants grow. So you've already set the seeds for some major development in your life, and I'm guessing that that's coming from the mental sphere. So a couple of things that make me think that. First, we've got the Nine of Swords here, which tends to indicate worry, stress, anxiety, things that are occluding the mental body. And the reason why it tends to think that is in the traditional deck, it is a woman who is waking up from a bunch of nightmares. She's got like these swords that are going through where she's remembering all of these past battles, and she's like really upset about it and is woken up in the middle of the night from all these dreams. So, you know, you have that as a part of your experience. But we have both the King and the Queen of Swords. So the swords are all about the mind. They're all about the mental body, all about thinking. And having both the King... Oh, sorry, that's the Empress. Where is she? Here we go, Queen of Swords. Having both the King and the Queen of Swords here is making me think that you're very experienced in all things of the mind, and maybe potentially it's what you're used to. You're used to this mental energy stuff, and with all this anxiety here, your mind is an easy place for you to go, and sometimes that can be really tricky for you. And I think that that trickiness is something that you've been working on, right? Because we have this Seven of Pentacles here, which is showing that you've put a lot of work into something already, and now you're kind of at a pause waiting to see if it's going to do anything. And the advice on how we can get that to go through comes from a couple of places here. So we've got the Page of Cups here. And so, since it's a page, right, you've got both the King and the Queen of the Swords. So you've got the swords covered, you've got your mind kind of covered. Even if you have a lot of anxiety, potentially that anxiety is coming from an imbalance within yourself of not working on your emotional side as much as you've been working on this mental side. And I think that that's part of where this feminine energy is coming in. You've got it coming in twice to show you that potentially this is something that needs to be balanced within yourself. You know, and that potentially this emotional side of you could use some work. And some more from the balancing, right? You've got Justice here, and the Justice card is all about balancing the scales, because it's a woman depicted with the scales here. And you know, it can also mean that you have you know, justice is like getting back what's given. But I think in this situation, it's talking about needing balance, right? Because you also have the Six of Pentacles, and the Six of Pentacles is depicted in the traditional deck as a man with a scale, who's giving out help to the poor. And a lot of times it's talking about that give and take of being in a position to help people or asking for help. But because he is holding that scale, and you have the Justice card with the scales, to me it's saying that you have a balance within yourself, that it's asking for you. And I think that you are perfectly capable of achieving that for yourself, because we've got the Magician here. The Magician is asking you to take control of yourself, but of your situation, of your life, of everything, and to transform it. You have the power to transform every aspect of your reality. And in order to do that, start using the aspects of the feminine energy to help you balance some of maybe where this anxiety is coming from. And once you do, you've got two different cards indicating that it's all good, right? Like you've got the sun here, which is like all about great things. It's the day, it's the dawn, it's the sun itself. It's the thing that sustains us all. It's that energy of all encompassing everything. And then you have it's all good. Everything is good right now. I'm going to read It's All Good for You right now from the book because that is also a good one here. Every experience you have in your lifetime has the potential to be a teaching tool. By remembering and embracing this idea, the situations you encounter become less fraught with unneeded emotion and drama. By not attaching labels or expectations to people and situations, you allow the pure divine energy to flow unimpeded. While you may have little control over what happens to you at times, you always have control over how you react. Do you react on an impulse? Strike out at others when you feel hurt? Do you crawl into your safe place when the world seems mean and hurtful? Face this challenge in your life head on. Be thankful for the opportunity to experience whatever it is that is happening. Set yourself a goal of learning from every situation in your life. Find that silver lining. It's there. So something in this really resonated with me. We were talking about emotions before. And so it says, by remembering and embracing this idea, the idea that everything is a potential learning tool, the situations you encounter become less fraught with an unneeded emotion and drama. By not attaching labels and expectations to people and situations, you allow the pure divine energy to flow unimpeded. And I think that that's where your anxiety is coming from. I think that potentially maybe you're somebody who's blocking their emotions because you're stuck in this King and Queen of Swords space. You're stuck in the mental body. Maybe you're pushing your emotions away. But by doing that, you're actually creating the situations for yourself that are causing you so much pain and anxiety. And that maybe you need to start learning how to embrace the emotional parts of you so that they don't overwhelm you in ways that you don't even understand. I think that, maybe you need to provide a space for yourself to experience your emotions unimpeded from other people and other situations. By allowing our emotions to flow through us, you can do that in a way, in a situation that's totally devolved of anyone else, like alone in whatever space you can go to, and just like cry it out, like feel it, feel what needs to feel the anger, feel the whatever, and don't let it take over, but but give yourself an outlet. An emotional outlet, and then nurture yourself, like the feminine energy is saying, nurture those parts of yourself that are hurt, and that might really help with your anxiety. And when you can do that, it's all good, right? Those situations, it's all okay, because you've got the sun here. It's all right. You got the sun. I think I touched on all of it. So I hope that this is resonating with you. I think that creating a balance of your emotional body and your mental body together is really going to help you balance out. And like I said, I think that you've been putting a lot of work into this already. Like, you're not a novice on this. You're at the Seven of Pentacles energy. So you've already been putting in a lot into this harvest. So you give yourself some credit. You're doing a lot of work, but you're still kind of you still need to put some more into it in order to come to a balanced place. And the cards are asking you to find balance within. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to do the book reading real quick, and then I'll let you go. So what I'm going to do is roll a bunch of dice and come up with 7 words, and then we'll rearrange it into a poem, and then that poem will hopefully give us more insight. And then I just want to remember, real quick, sorry, I just remembered this. The Kaunaz rune is telling you you're in a breakthrough moment. You're going to get that aha. And that aha is coming from, I think, an emotional release, honestly. I think that's what you need. But when you go through that, when you give yourself the space to balance out within, breakthrough, sunshine, all rainbows from here, right? It's coming. Okay. Be with you in a moment. Word number 1 is 2. Word number 2 is stenciling. '19 is label. 4. With. The. Backing. All right, 1 second, and I will get your poem together for you. Oh, let me read out the words, and then we'll pause and do the poem. So, 2, stenciling, label, 4, with, the, backing. So 1 moment. Okay, so this was a bit of a doozy. This is what I came up with. 2 backing with stenciling for the label. So we've got 3 parts to this. The reason is for backing. It's doing it with stenciling, and the purpose is for the label. So to put this into your situation here, we've got a couple of things. So in order for you to get the backing that you need, in order for you to feel a sense of stability and calm, it's asking you to with stenciling, in order to get that backing, you have to draw out the things from within yourself that are needed. In order to do that, you kind of have to pinpoint it. You got to pinpoint. Labeling is all about pointing something out. Stenciling is all about tracing something, and then backing is about stabilizing. So you got to pinpoint what it is that needs to be brought out. You got to trace around it, and then you got to support yourself. Maybe that's some advice for helping you with emotional stuff, right? Pinpoint what it is, where it is on you. A lot of times our emotions are we get lost in our mind when we experience emotions sometimes, and we want to go down this thought loops trail of it's because of this, and then this did all of this, and then this did all of this. But instead of doing that, find where on your body you're feeling that emotion through breathing. Breathe in and out slowly as you're feeling emotions coming up, and then pinpoint where you're feeling that. So label where you're feeling it, stencil it. So once you feel that, you okay, it's in my chest, for instance. That's where anxiety always fits for me. So then just then you're breathing in and out, and by doing that, slowing down, you're giving yourself the support and the backing that you need for it. So, I don't know. I don't know if that made any sense to you, if that felt like you resonated. Either way, please comment in the comments, and then if you can, please subscribe. I would love it if you did. Anyway, that was your reading. I hope it worked for you. We're going to move on to pile number 3. So thank you so much. Hi, pile number 3. As Kathy Bates' doctor told her after she was cured of cancer, welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. I'll get into why I'm saying that, but that's kind of the message that I think you need to hear the most right now, based on your cards. So we'll start off, my friend, with this book that you got pulled, Tomorrow's Child. Very fitting for your reading, and you'll see that. I want to start off, I really, really like your energy a lot, and I really appreciate you. So, welcome to the reading. Your rune is Dagos, which is the midday sun. It's all about it tends to be like the beginning of a new journey in the sunlight. The beginning of all things good for you. For the shamanic oracle cards, we start with anger, and we've got new day, right? New day. It's a new day for you, my friend. For the homemade tarot deck I made myself, we've got the 9 of Cups. We've got the 5 of Wands. We've got the King of Wands. We've got the Ace of Cups. And we've got the Tower, or in French, La Maison de Dieu. Ooh. And then for the traditional Rider-Waite deck, we've got the 8 of Pentacles. We've got the 8 of Wands. We've got the 2 of Swords. We've got the Tower again. And we've got the Queen of Wands. So, let's just address the elephant in the room. You are going through a crazy, major, life-changing, earth-shattering, pull the rug out from under your feet change. And based on it, it's a good one. Well, it may not feel like it, but it's a good one. So, you know, this change is showing us that you're at a crossroads in your life. That's what the 2 of Swords indicates. And you're going from one energy into the complete opposite. You know, you've been working incredibly difficult. The 8 of Pentacles shows a diligent hard worker. You've been putting a lot of work into, I think, your life, into yourself, into trying to change your situation, because you are very adamant, adept at manifestation. You've put a lot of energy into manifesting a change in your life. And the reason I say that is because you have the King of Wands and the Queen of Wands. So you have both the King and the Queen of the suit that indicates this driving, passionate journey to create for yourself, to push into something new, to change your circumstances. And, you know, it's been hard. It's been a slog. You have the Five of Wands here, which is normally depicted as 5 people duking it out in this battle with these sticks and wands and like, "Buga, buga." Everybody's just fighting and nobody's winning. So you've been stuck in that struggle. But you have been determined to turn your life around or change your circumstances. You have been so determined. And now something has come along in your life that, you know, maybe it is this strife here. Maybe you're in that battle right now and you're just like, oh my God. But you've got the Tower twice, and the Tower indicates an external situation that's totally and completely out of your control, coming in and changing everything. Which, who knows, maybe that was something to do with the state of the world right now. This is a timeless reading, so you could be getting this way after the coronavirus stuff has gone down, but maybe that was it. Maybe it was your lightning struck tower moment. For this one in particular, because it's in French with, and it says like the house of God, it just reminds me of like God in the machine, right? The Deus ex machina. You just had the Deus ex machina of your life that for whatever reason did a total 180, and then bagow, you're just like in something completely different now. And all of this struggle and this pain, like I think that you've brought the change on a I mean, if you believe in metaphysical stuff, but if you're reading a tarot reading, you at least partially believe in that. I think you've manifested that into your life. I think that you've manifested a change in your circumstances based on pure will. like good on you. And it's happening. It's like happening. You got that crossroads here. But before we get into that, let me just read this anger card here, because it's a little bit of the elephant in the room that's going to help you really move into this new energy. And really, like, this transformation has happened regardless of whether you do this or not, but this is going to help you keep your situation going the way you want. Anger. A very strong and primal emotion. Anger sometimes catches us by surprise. At other times, it seethes just under the surface, simmering a long while until it boils over, scalding anyone who is close. Anger is based in fear. Fear of loss of control. Ooh. Yeah, that resonates. I'll go back. Fear of not being loved. Fear of being judged. Fear of not being enough. When anger enters your life, be it yours or someone else's, go beneath the surface and try to address the real fear that has triggered it. Anger doesn't go away without addressing the underlying fear. I think for you, potentially this really is a fear of loss of control, because for whatever reason, the universe has given you complete loss of control, right? In the sense that your entire life just changed without like having any ability to think about it. Like you had that happen to you, clearly. And I don't mean to laugh. Like, if this was something that was really difficult and hard for you, like, honestly, I really feel for you. But it's bringing you face to face with whatever that underlying thing that was keeping you in this struggle, right? That fear was keeping you locked in this battle, whether it was an external or an internal battle. So a lot of times, the Five of Wands can indicate that we're fighting ourselves. It can be this internal battle between us duking it out with the parts of ourselves we don't understand. You know, maybe that's what was going on with your life. You were lashing out with anger because you just felt like you couldn't control anything in your life. And so you brought about this tower moment for yourself. You brought about these conditions that just totally cataclysmically changed it all. And that's what you've been manifesting. But the manifestation has come to this. You're in this new journey. You got an ace. The aces indicate the beginning of the suit. They are the beginning journey. So you have crashed your way out of this wands journey, and now you're in a whole new story. And that's the emotional fulfilling story. It's finding love, finding peace. You know, this is like you are starting your journey for peace, and it's here. It's come. The universe has leveled the playing field of your life so that your story now is peace, and love and joy. And it's showing that that's what you're going to work towards. That's what you're working towards. The Nine of Cups is the fulfilling. It's the last card of it all. Well, the second to last. It's the second to last, yeah. But this one is all about having it all. Like being totally fulfilled, ultimate abundance, ultimate joy, ultimate love. You are just basking in being comfortable in a totally solid and stable comfort zone. And look at that. Look at that. This rune, if you turn this on its side, this shape that I have drawn here is the same as the Dagaz shape, right? It's that hourglass shape. You have that. That's cool. That's a cool shape too. A lot of times when I think about this shape, it to me it reminds me of a light cone. So sort of like a light cone is talking about, if you look at this middle point here, it's branching off into all possible outcomes of the future and all possible outcomes from the past. It's talking about being completely present within this moment in space and time, and that we have the ability, by being present in this moment, to alter the conditions that will lead us to any desired outcome. Any eventuality that you want to come to. Oh yeah, look at that. The cups on that, I don't know if you can see that, but the cup symbol that I drew on there is basically that rune, just a little bit altered. So you've got that shape continuing in this suit, which is really cool. I would look that up. I would look up a light cone if you want. It's an hourglass shape. Look up symbolism in that, because that could be totally applicable to you. But you have the ability to branch out into any eventuality that you could possibly want. But the only way to get there is to remember that the future, the past, and the present all exist simultaneously. There's nothing else beyond this moment in space and time. When I'm talking to you right now, we're existing on the same plane of existence, regardless of whether or not you're watching this, you know, way, way, way past the April 2020 when I'm putting this up, you know? So that perspective can really help you move into this new energy of abundance, in emotional abundance, in fulfillment. Yeah, you got the new day coming here, friend. And it's coming quickly. This is the 5, 6, 7, 8. The 8 of Wands, which is like fast moving action. Sometimes I see it depicted in cards as arrows being shot through the sky. This is the wands being thrown, but same deal. Like, whoosh, it's coming to you. You've got this coming to you, and it's going to move quickly. You might be just starting this journey, but for you to have the start and the finish here, like by staying present in the moment on this journey, you're going to make this fulfillment coming much, much sooner. And like I was saying before, all moments in time and space exist simultaneously. You are already here. The time and space, the moment in space-time when you are totally comfortable, totally and completely fulfilled, totally and completely like feeling your abundance and love and joy, you're there, my friend. That moment in space-time exists, and you can get yourself there by realizing that it's already happened. And I think that maybe that's what you're being asked to work on here, because you have both the King and the Queen of Wands, which to me indicates you are a very powerful manifester. Whether you know it or not, you are in completely powerful at making things happen in your life. And so if you are stuck in this strife energy, like this struggle, you can perpetuate that inside of yourself. If you're in this battle where you're just duking it out and they're all going at each other, because you're such a powerful manifester, you can make that happen like way, way, way stronger than an average person. And maybe you're the kind of person where that happens to you. I know I'm very similar to this, so this is why this is resonating with me. Maybe you're the kind of person where like you'll look at people and be like, how can they get away with all this? Why is this not hurting them when like I can't do that? Or like you just like are trying to do this one thing and then it just like cacophonies so crazily. And I think it's because you're very powerful. Your mind is very powerful. Like you are very powerful at making things happen within your environment. And yeah, I think that you're being asked, well, you're being forced to move into something new. And we're going to read the New Day card here. A new day enables us to see in a brand new light. We can see more clearly once the shadows of fear and doubt are brushed away by the light of creation. Once the initial shock of discovering the duality in a situation has worn off, you can find comfort that there truly is no bad or good. It just is. When this is realized, the possibilities for the outcome of a situation become endless. This card also advises to wait. Everything regarding the situation has yet to unfold. Yeah, that really seems powerful to me, right? Like, coming outside of a dualistic understanding, once you start to see things, instead of trying to look things as this is good, all of this is bad, this is good, this is bad, instead just like, okay, the situation is what it is, things happen the way they happened. Can't change it, can't fix it, things just are. But when you can come to that, then you can become comfortable in the situation. Things just are. Now you're open to infinite possibility instead of being stuck in something, like continuously thinking, oh my God, I don't want this bad thing to happen, and then boom, it happens, and something like that, because you're such a powerful manifester. Instead, saying like, okay, this happened. This is the situation. Okay. Acceptance. Radical acceptance. Look that up if you don't know what that is. Just, I can accept it. Okay. Now you're open to the things that are good that can happen by focusing on that. It's like, it's all about, manifestation is all about the perpetuation of what you focus on. The things that you focus on, you bring into your life. And so you can start, it's asking you to focus on this new journey. Let go of the old struggle. And by doing so, you open yourself up to this period of abundance and beauty. It is here. Like not only is it possible, like let's not even talk about that. It's happened. It's happened. It's already happened. Now you just have to flow along your journey to get it. By staying present in the moment, you can do that. It's real. It's happened. You had the cataclysmic change. It might have hurt, and if it did, I'm sorry that it hurt, but it's giving you a gift. And then that's, the New Day was talking about that perspective thing. So there it is again. Maybe something crazy happened. I'm sure it did, but it just happened. It happened. You can't change it. What you can do is move into the beauty that anything is possible. Your wildest dreams have already happened and occurred for you. You just gotta find it. You gotta move to it. You gotta open yourself up in the light cone to the open possibility that's within this now future moments. That's powerful, friend. I really like this reading. I really like you. So if this resonated with you, please let me know in the comments. We're going to do the book poem now real quick. And then that'll be it for your reading. So let me do this here. I'm going to speed up the video and get you to the points you need to get to. So, one moment. Word number 1 is us. Word number 2 is that. Word number 3 is that. Used. Has. Is. An. So the words are us, that, used, has, is, an. So I'm going to rearrange it into a poem that makes sense, and then we'll interpret. Okay, so Spirit has given me a a fill in the blank for you. Okay, so I want you to clear your mind very quickly. Breathe in. Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna have you breathe in and out. I'm gonna read you the fill in the blank, and then literally the first thing that pops into your head at the blank, that is your message to move forward. I can't give it to you. I don't know what it is. I'll never know. Leave it in the comments if you get this someday, and tell me what it is, because I want to know. But anyway, it's a message for you and you alone. So I'm going to have you breathe in and out, like I said. I'm going to read the sentence, and literally the first word that comes into your brain is your message for you. I love this. Okay, so breathe in. Breathe out. That has used us is an... There you go. That's for you. I love that. I really hope that this resonated with you. This was a fun reading. This is my second video that I've done, so I haven't done too many of these, but this is the best reading I've done on the video for sure. But I think this might have been my favorite reading I've ever done for anybody. So thank you so much. This was so cool. You're rad. I want to know you. Let me know. Like and subscribe. Yeah, okay. Peace out. Okay, everybody, you made it till the end. Congratulations. If you've tuned back in with me, thank you so much. If not, you'll never know. But this end part is just going to be a reading of tonight's poem, all through all 3 readings, one poem. So please join me. The modern non-duality are also to unite. To backing with stenciling for the label. That has used us is an... Okay, thank you so much for joining me. That was your reading. I really hope it resonated with you. I hope you liked them. I had a lot of fun tonight. Please like and subscribe. Subscribing really helps me out a lot. I'm trying to grow this channel, and that would really do me a solid. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you later.